for me to stand in this House. So I commend this bill to the House.
I call Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I would like to take a call on behalf of New Zealand First as the Veterans Affairs spokesperson to support the Veterans Support Bill. This bill gives effect to the recommendations of the Law Commission in its 2010 report. It is somewhat disappointing, Mr Speaker, that it has taken 3 years to finally get to this chamber and to the Parliament, but it is better late than never. Unfortunately, it is too late for many veterans who would like to have seen this a long time ago. However, the 1954 War Pensions Act was designed to meet the needs of the Second World War veterans, and it is time for it to be replaced with this Act to bring it into the more modern era in terms of legislation. What this Act does is acknowledges that community responsibility for injury, illness or death of veterans as a result of being placed in harm's way in the service to New Zealand. It also ensures that there's a provision for veterans with fair entitlement. It promotes equal treatment of equal claims, and it promotes a benevolent approach to claims. It is split into two schemes because we did have ACC introduced in 1974. So as a result, the entitlements pre-1974 apply under Scheme 1 of this bill, and post-1974 in the ACC era for Scheme 2. It ensures that Vietnam veterans and those before them are still fully covered under the original Act and are not in any way disadvantaged because of the post-1974 ACC situation. Mr Speaker, this also ensures that spouses and partner entitlement will be improved through this bill, and that is a very good thing because in many areas certainly the spouses and partners of veterans have had great difficulty and extreme hardship, and this bill goes a long way to addressing that. Veterans from both schemes will have access to medical treatment and rehabilitation for accepted conditions. They will have access to home help and lawn mowing for service-related conditions. There will also be funeral grants for service-related deaths. Two boards are being established under this bill. The War Pensions Advisory Board is replaced by the Veterans Advisory Board, and a Specialist Medical Advisory Board will be established, with a Specialist Medical Advisory Panel will be established, and this panel will assume responsibility for making grants and awards. And again, that's a good thing that there will be a Specialist Medical Panel involved with this, because so many of the veterans, it is very much in a medical area that they are seeking assistance, where they need to be identified for the impacts that they've suffered as a result of going to service for this country, and where they do require medical support and medical attention. And we are increasingly seeing that situation as a result of those who served in Vietnam with Agent Orange, those who were in the Pacific with nuclear contamination, and those who have been in other areas of war around the world where there has been contamination, or they have been subjected to conditions that have resulted in them having very poor health in later life. Mr Speaker, New Zealand First has always been a strong advocate for our veterans. New Zealand First places great value and recognition on the service given by our veterans. Our nation has a special obligation to them, particularly those who have suffered as a result of their service. In this respect, New Zealand First has a number of principles which we put forward and which we stand by. We will ensure that veterans' pensions maintain relativity plus an additional 10% in recognition of their sacrifice. We will implement the recommendation of the Law Commission's review of the War Pensions Act absolutely 100%, because we believe the work that the Law Commission did was very thorough and was very worthy and should not have taken this amount of time to be implemented. We will work with the Royal New Zealand RSA towards providing veterans with a sustainable health care package. We will also, as we did when we were in cooperation with the Labour government, where New Zealand First negotiated $1 million for the RSA social and support and health services, we again committed to ensuring the ongoing financial support for that, which was in the order of $250,000 a year. This government has reduced that to $150,000 per year. We're committed to putting that back up to the full extent of that $250,000 per year to support veterans with health and social services, which are most important. And that includes helping veterans get to hospitals, helping volunteers to be supported to take veterans for medical attention and that sort of thing. That $100,000 difference that the government has cut out of that fund per year is a huge amount, because that directly impacts on many volunteers and people who support the veterans at their time of need. New Zealand First will also increase the radiation-related health conditions listed on the Veterans Affairs presumptive list to include all cancers, because we believe that all cancers involved, whether it be from Agent Orange, whether it be from nuclear radiation, or whatever cancers have been formed as a result of being in the theatre of war, that this country and this government should be covering those veterans for. We will support claims by veterans and their children who have been affected by Agent Orange and any other such issues. And we also are fully committed to supporting all areas of RSA, including the likes of the National War Memorial Park in Wellington, to recognise the service and sacrifices of the veterans to this country. Mr. Speaker, this is an important bill. It affects so many people throughout New Zealand. We are constantly hearing very sad stories about the conditions and the lives of veterans who have gone to war, who have gone to serve this country and who are now struggling, and also their families, their children and their loved ones are suffering, and many of them are having to take care of those veterans during their later years. I think it's a sad indictment that it has taken so long for this document, and this document is a very lengthy document, and I'm looking forward to it coming through select committee, so that when it is fully considered, when the submissions come in, and I'm sure there will be many hundreds of them from all over New Zealand, that this Parliament will give huge weight to this document, will pass it, and in fact will increase the provisions that are shown in this document to the full extent that is possible. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call Darien Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a pleasure to rise to speak in the first reading of the Veterans Support Bill, and as my colleagues have said, we will support the bill